United States is mobilizing its supporters in the reactionary government of Brazil and Colombia to back a U.S. threatened war. And would you believe that the United States calls this a humanitarian war once again, like the humanitarian war that slaughtered tens of thousands everywhere in the Middle East, like the war in Vietnam that killed 4 million, like the Iraq war where the United States murdered by sanctions, starvation, and bullets and bombs 1.5 million, like in Egypt where the United States supported the coup that overthrew the democratically elected government of that country. Our answer to all of this is no to U.S. intervention, no to U.S. racist wars, U.S. out now, bring the troops home now, and self-determination for the oppressed peoples in the world.
We're here today in solidarity with the people of Venezuela who are resisting against the attempt to overthrow their government, their elected government. And we, people across the United States and around the world, are demonstrating to say no war, hands off Venezuela, no sanctions, stop the U.S. aggression against Venezuela.
So basically I feel like the U.S. is trying to dictate to the Venezuelan people and is preparing for a regime change, and they're orchestrating it with right-wing forces within Venezuela. And I basically don't think the U.S. has any business trying to control Latin America and trying to overthrow governments, and as it's done over the years in Chile and Guatemala and Dominican Republic and Honduras and Haiti with disastrous consequences. I think U.S. intervention will only lead to a worse situation for the people. If the U.S. really wanted to help the people, and it's hard to believe that Trump has the interests of the Venezuelan people in mind, but if the U.S. really wanted to help the people, they would lift the sanctions and they would release the funds of the Venezuela's government that have been frozen, because a big part of what the U.S. is doing is economic warfare against the people of Venezuela.
No to this bipartisan war. No to the U.S. planned coup in Venezuela. Our central slogan is U.S. hands off, U.S. out now, self-determination for Venezuela. No U.S. intervention, no U.S. wars. No to NATO, which is celebrating in Washington its 70th anniversary. No to walls and deportations, for immigrant rights, LGBT rights, for human rights and democratic rights, and not a repressive society.
They are the same forces who are deporting tens of thousands of undocumented people. They are the same forces that are locking up families and children and blocking the U.S. borders. We are here today to say no U.S. war against Venezuela. We are here today to expose the lies of the people who are running this country, because they are united. Doesn't matter which big business party they're from, they all speak the same language. They all disrespect the sovereignty of Venezuela. They are all trying to undermine the progressive government of Maduro. They are trying to undo the gains of the Bolivarian revolution, and we're here to say no. We are here to stop this.
I was very moved to see in Venezuela, in Caracas, millions of people in the streets supporting President of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, the only president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro. And you should see how moving it was to so many people, because you hear in the news that he doesn't have any support. It cannot be more lies than that. He has a lot of support. We don't need to believe the media. The media is lying to us constantly. You know, today is a day where we're supposed to cross the aid, right? All these tracks of aid in the border with Brazil, in the border with Colombia, they haven't been able to cross nothing. They're desperate, and when they're desperate, it's dangerous.
And one of the things that the imperialist billionaires
want to do is kill hope. And Venezuela has been one of the biggest sources of hope for a long time. Rick from the Task Force on the Americas talked about turning the tide. What had happened in South America, largely because of Hugo Chavez when he got elected in 1998, was there was a pink tide. Things were changing. The vast majority of the geography of South America was having the heads of state were not the U.S. first choice, which was very good for the citizens of their countries.
What is going on in Venezuela today is an attack against the socialist movements that have been happening in all of Latin America, that have been starting here in the U.S. as well, across the world. And it's really the attack by the capitalists onto these projects that when you actually have democracy, when you actually have people's voices being heard, what they scream, what they say is public education for all. What they scream is health care for all. What they scream is a socialist agenda.
To all of these U.S. oil corporations to take over and dominate Venezuela, they want to roll back all of the progressive gains. We say no to the sanctions, which block food and medicine and other essentials for 30 million people. We say no to we say no to the coup, and we say no to U.S. war and the threats of genocide against the population. We cannot be neutral. We cannot be neutral in this struggle between the oppressed and the oppressor. We have to take a side. That side is with the Venezuelan people. That side is with the Bolivarian revolution. Saturday, March 9th at UN Plaza. Join the Answer Coalition. We have to build the struggle, and we have to join and get others and build this movement. Thank you.
Alerta! Alerta!